I'm just done with my workout. I'm not prejudiced towards guys who does not have a degree. I don't know whether it's bad luck or is my prejudice correct. Someone gaslight you just because you does not agree with that someone and you kind of like say no to the person. So I'm gonna be talking about my horrible bumble dating experience 101. Well, it's gonna be the first episode, and so I'll start with this is guy number 1, and his name is, let's call him Jake, and he is about 28 years old, Malaysian Chinese. Well, actually, we haven't even met. It's just at the talking stage, and dude was behaving. To me, it was too much. It was like suffocating. Because what happened was, well, I say I'm not really active, so I am like replying not too soon. But when this guy replies, he replies like a lot of messages, like by the essays. Yep, he basically write essays, and which is like, okay, this guy seems like he's like, I mean, there's only two types of people you normally get. It's either someone who doesn't talk, that's like one-liner, it's really dry, or someone who talks as much as this person. And to me, at one point, it feels a bit suffocating. And so, right, I was saying it's like, when I didn't reply, and he was like, so you're busy? It's like, so you don't have time? Well, it's like, you can't reply, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit like gaslighting. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, it is busy. I mean, I'm working. I'm not like a unemployed, or I'm not in school. So of course I do have my life. I have my my family, I have my friends, I mean, I have my dogs to take care of. It's like, come on, it's like, I have not met you. And I find it's a little bit too much. And the way he responds was also, his speed was like, God crazy. I'm not saying that for a lot of girls, maybe you'll be like, okay, maybe a guy reply, it's fast, it's a good thing, right? But probably, I mean, that's what I think too. A guy reply fast is a good thing, but probably there's a sense when it's too much. It's the sense of like, when you reply, then he replies like instantly, all the time. And that's like, whoa, I am not used to this. I mean, I'm not like young and jobless. Like I said, I'm at a point where I'm that independent to not reply fast. I'm quite a bad texter now. So when this happens, it's like, okay, in a sense, it's nice, but if I don't reply, you shouldn't start gaslighting me, Because I did have a very good partner where even if I reply slow, like a few days to a week, and he's like totally fine with it. But not like this guy is like, and then he starts to call me delusional. He called me like, oh, you're like, you might be a bit delulu, because I started saying it's like, okay, my ex has a set a high benchmark, and basically, the whole time when he was talking about a lot of essays, I mean, the things he said was about like, I'm not clingy, who says I'm clingy? I'm very independent, I can live everything by myself, I'm actually very strong. I'm a very strong person, just that I have a lot of love to give to this world, and I've been pushed down a lot of times, and it's okay. Even though with that, I can still stand back up and strong. The world is harsh, but I'm also like a nice guy, that kind of thing. So feels like he was like trauma dumping, saying it's like, when the world pushed me down, it's like, oh, I stand back up, it's like when the world pushed me down, I'll keep on fighting and fighting, I can stand back up all the time, I will come back up stronger, I'll be better. Well, it's like, Is he giving like some motivational talk? Does he need to do a TED talk? Does it make him feel better doing a TED talk? It just felt that he was just trying to talk a lot about his how he went through a lot of hardship, and he's still a very strong guy, he's a very independent guy. But to me it felt like if you're that strong, you wouldn't be like gaslighting me here just because I'm replying slow, and just because I'm saying that you know, I've seen someone who responds better. And he's just like, oh, you know, you're a delulu, that kind of thing. So at one, apparently this guy also, he does not have a degree, he did not study. Yeah, I don't think he graduated I mean, he probably graduated high school, but with a very, it's a failing degree. So basically he failed his subjects and everything, so he graduated high school very terribly. Okay, so that is probably a red flag for me to start, because I still think if someone has education, you wouldn't be like doing this kind of thing. And yeah, okay, why I'm saying that further is because, okay, for example, so he's just talking about also about his past, you know, and like, you know, I'm struggling and all that kind of thing. And it's like, yo, even though it's like my ex is like she wants to pursue her dreams, I support her, I fund her. Then I'm like, so you're a savior, you know, that kind of thing. Is like he wants to make himself, he looks good, you know, like he has all the love to give to this world, he supports his partner. I don't know, you can say otherwise, but for me it's like, okay, a decent guy does not brag like this. It's bragging. I've met guys who doesn't brag. Like I said, my benchmark is high, and I know someone who doesn't brag about this. So he keeps on saying this, like I'm like delulu and all that. Fine. And then at one point I just say, it's like, okay, well, you know, after talking so much, I probably think it's like, I don't think we're gonna work out, you know. It's like, and then he was like, oh, instant change. I was like, oh wow, me too, actually. It's like, I was such a relief. Then I was like, it's like, yeah, I'm so glad that, you know, I'm not interested in you, you know. Talking to you is like talking on eggshells, you know. You're like a frog living under the well, and you know, you are a bit like delusional. Okay, you can say that about me. Say that to someone who's traveled all around. I mean, I've traveled quite a bit, I've dated quite a bit, and yeah, say that to someone who is just okay. Talking to someone like that is just like, oh, major red flag. Okay, he say what he wants, you know, because wow, it was just like then he was like, the vibe just totally changed once you say that you're not interested in him. The vibe just totally changed, and he was like giving me like a lot of shit as well, even previously. I should have seen, because before, when I was like being like saying how my ex is better and that kind of thing, and he just starts to like going inside, don't be delulu lah, you're like delusional lah, come on lah. He's like, right, I mean, comparing to you. So what he does is, he's a project executive, and he was saying is that, oh, my boss listened to me. Doesn't matter your boss listened to you or not, because I don't want my boss listen to me if I'm earning less than my boss. I just was like, I can listen to my boss as long as, if you're giving me, let's say for example, if my pay is higher than my boss's pay, I am happily listening to my boss. Like, it doesn't really matter, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, power to me is not everything. It's like, you can have a lot of say, and if you're only getting like what, maybe, I don't know how much he's getting, probably about 5,000, I guess. He say he's not doing very well, but because he's basically a project executive for shop renovations for, let's say, a brand, and he doesn't have a degree. So I mean, and if he's just working for someone else. As I know here, the Chinaman, quote Chinaman style kind of company is like you really don't get paid a lot, and okay, you can have your say, you know. So like it doesn't really matter to me if you're making decisions. If you're not getting paid enough, you're not doing too well. It's like I don't have a lot of say at work, but if I'm getting like 5 digits and I don't have a lot of say, which is fine by me, right? I mean, the return is so much higher and for less work I'm doing. So, yeah, he can say it's like I am delusional, I am a fraud under the well. So, look who's the one talking then. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it did bother me. I mean, I could have actually talked back because I was also very tempted to kind of, I mean, talk back a little bit, like to tell him all this, that it really doesn't matter, that kind of thing. And you know, whether he's like actually gaslighting me to make himself feel better that he got rejected. But there's no point saying to someone like that, because he's one of those type of men where you want to say things to make yourself feel better that you got rejected and this girl actually don't like you. But you know, that kind of example where it's your loss, it's not my loss. It's male ego 101 right there, where you can basically say that, oh, you know, she's like a loser, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I've talked to quite a few people who has like just talking stage I have never met. I'm gladly I have not met these people, because to me it feels like I dodged a bullet, because all these people, these type of men, they have that ego so high. It will be like they want to have the last say. The last say will be like, okay, you know, it's like, oh, you're a loser, you know, you're a stupid woman, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, oh, you know, you basically know nothing, you're very like immature. But who's the immature one talking like that? I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, you tell me, man. This kind of people where, yeah, people without education, a man without education is not attractive to me, because yeah, he's probably that type where, I don't know, I guess woman who's not doing as good as him would be fall for him. But nah, not me. It's like I have a degree, so I expect the other guy to know better. For a man to put a woman down that is really low to make himself feel better. But we get a lot of men like that. And yeah, to me, there was like two sides of me. One is like to state my point, which is my ego as well. The other one is to just let it go and just agree with whatever he said. So in the end, he was like saying, you know, I was like, you know, I know nothing. I was like for under the well. You're like delulu. Me, I was like, fine, yeah, you're right, because it's so obvious at the time. He's just like, he needs to take care of his ego, where, you know, I'm not being rejected by a woman, but I'm rejecting a woman, kind of thing. Like, you do you, man. Yeah, it's just, that's what happens when you kind of talk to someone who has a low EQ. By the end, I just felt a bit like, a little bit, because it's my second time talking to someone who does not have a degree, who does not finish, I don't know if they even finish high school. They probably did, but with very bad results. Just a very bad impression. And yeah, I might just make another story and talk about my terrible Bumble dating stories. This is number 1. So welcome to episode 1 of listening to the whole story. Yeah, I don't even remember the whole actual mean words that he says, but wow, it's just I'm a bit like traumatized. There's just one more, okay, remembering one more thing. He was like, basically, if you say stuff that well, he felt he was offended, he's actually like, basically if he felt offended, it was on him, then he will be like quite defensive, start to talk bad about you. But once you say it's like, oh no, that's not about you, but I'm just talking about me in general, the whole tone changed to, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was about me. I'm like attacking him. I was like, can you not be so thinking everything's about you? No. So yeah, it's a terrible person and just terrible experience, and I'm so glad I did not meet this person. So what should I name this podcast, this channel, probably this episode? Just thinking out loud now as I'm recording this, because it's a way for me to express my terrible experience for the world to hear about this terrible experience. Probably no one's gonna watch this, but still, yeah. Welcome to the Ruthless Tea, episode 1, about terrible Bumble experience. Right. If you actually listen all the way until the end, thanks for listening, and maybe I will see you next time if you like and subscribe. Bye.